Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the world's biggest sports radio station. It is talkSPORT. My name's Max Rushden. Alongside me, Barry Glendenning for the OG warm-up. How are you, Barry?
I am tip-top, Max. And yourself?
Good. I wouldn't say tip-top.
Okay.
I've got I don't know if you can hear that I'm maybe half an octave lower.
Yeah, that's normally a sign you have been out carousing the previous night.
Well, here's the thing. I haven't mentioned this before.
You're an alcoholic. You want to come clean.
No,
or become clean, even.
No, I have a young family.
I keep forgetting because you never mention it.
People don't like people bringing up that kind of stuff.
Some people do. I don't.
Oh, no, you don't. But they all got sick, and I didn't get sick. But I wasn't smart enough to, get on the Baroccas early.
Right.
And I don't know about you, my algorithm now when I'm doom scrolling is just full of sort of 50-year-old men telling me how many supplements I need to eat to survive or to live till I'm, 150. Because currently I'm not a supplement guy, or nobody has handed me leather holdalls of money to say, eat this tiny tablet instead of some vegetables. Right. But as it is, I didn't get on the supplements. I didn't get on the, I just didn't get ahead of it. and it hit me, and then I did go out on Friday night. But, you know, that is a long time ago now. So I'm on the lemon and honey. It's a natural remedy. I'm like, just to say for the record, I'm not in the pocket of big lemon and honey. I paid for both the lemon and the honey. Right. But I feel in a good space, and I feel like I can get through the next 2.5 hours. And
you do sound like you're in a bad space, and that you might not get through the next 2.5 hours.
I mean, it would get us some you know, we don't often get put on the socials, but if I were to cark it mid-show, do you think talkSPORT would think, out of sympathy for the family, we shouldn't put this online? Out of number of clicks we'd get, we should put it online. Which way do you think the socials team would go? It's hard to tell.
And as is always, Max, when something big happens in your life, such as you dying live on the radio, I would have to ask, how will this affect me?
Well, of course. I mean, immediately, would you go, it's what he would have wanted and carry on the footballer game? Or would you say,
you see, I'm not sure it is what you would have wanted.
No. I
don't think you'd care whether, if you just died, I don't think you'd care whether Perry and I, or whoever it is, this is how much planning goes into this show.
It'd be a terrible time to go just when you...
Would we have to do a minute's silence before the footballer game?
What emergency song would come in, and would it be appropriate, the emergency song? But imagine if you left this mortal coil when you were desperately trying to think of Noel Whelan. You were just there, oh no, and I don't know. Anyway, as always, Barry, with this show, we didn't really have any ideas. But did you hear there in the news that the Louvre has been closed following a robbery, according to France's culture minister? But what if it is not a robbery? What if a football fan has finally decided to break into the Louvre to hang up something in the Louvre that everyone says about every moment of football, hang it in the Louvre? Maybe someone has got a picture of Tardelli celebrating, or that picture of Maradona surrounded by 453,000 Belgians in '86. Maybe that's what's being... Maybe a fan went in to hang something in the Louvre.
I reckon a Burnley fan has gone to France, got the ferry.
Oh, yeah, good. I know where you're going with this.
They're in the process of hanging that Loum Chuma strike from yesterday in the Louvre.
I wouldn't blame them, because what a hit. I mean, I know we haven't... I mean, should we start? Because there's lots to get through. Play the Premier League review music. We can get on with the programme.
Max and Barry's Premier League review on talkSPORT.
Now, after yesterday's action and incident, Barry, Turf Moor is an odd place to start, but that's where we are.
Well, I want to start at Turf Moor, actually, because...
Okay.
Let me take you back, Max, to Monday, the 27th of January, which I suspect won't ring any bells with you.
It rings no bells. This year, 2025, Monday,
the 27th of January.
Okay.
And this was the corresponding Burnley-Leeds match of last season.
Oh, yes.
And I watched it all on television.
I'm sorry for you.
And it was the worst game, without exception, the worst game of football I have ever seen. And watching it, I could I could have turned over to EastEnders, whatever, watched something on Netflix, but I got so far into it, it became an exercise in sadomasochism.
Got it.
That I couldn't stop watching it in case something happened, in case somebody had a shot on goal.
I understand.
Somebody scored, the ball left the middle third of the pitch at some point. I'd come so far, I had to see it out, and nothing happened. It was diabolical. So this, fast forward, whatever it is, 10 months, and this match yesterday was 10,000 times better than that one, that Burnley-Leeds match, but it was still last on Match of the Day. And I thought that was quite incredible. Because compared to the Burnley Leeds nil match in January, Burnley 2 Leeds nil yesterday was just a different sport. It was incredible. It was so entertaining. It was a white knuckle ride. It had a potential goal of the season contender, and it was still last a match of the day. Just explain that to me.
Goal. Well, I mean, first of all, I don't know many sadomasochists, but I think they rarely put on Burnley Leeds from the Championship in early 2025. My first thought about that goal was, what's his name?
Loom
Chauma. And I thought this when he scored, and also there was another goal. And I just thought, God, there are so many footballers. It's impossible to keep up anymore. I sort of, maybe every person has a limit. And obviously, listeners will know well that I've got quite a lot of my head is still stuck in the 90s with lists of footballers and sports people. So I was like, I don't know who. And normally if someone scores a goal of that quality, I look them up. I'm interested. But I think this goal was the moment I reached my limit of I can't look up any more footballers. Yeah. And if he goes on to have a stellar career, it will by osmosis just enmesh in my brain. But right now, I'm just happy to leave it as a beautiful goal by somebody I don't know. And thank you for just striking the ball so beautifully and so clean.
And who knows, Max, if we never hear of Loom again, that's his legacy, and what a legacy it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
The question is who's left a bigger legacy, this Loom or the Loom? Because the Loom, had its day, didn't it? It really did. It really changed fabric design or whatever the word is. Andy Jacobs has been in touch, Barry.
Oh, has it already?
Says, already. It's not a criticism, actually.
Good.
He likes to keep tabs on the show, tell us what's good, what isn't. Very much enjoying today's warm-up with Barry Glendenning and Tom Waits. So, yeah.
I'll do the gags on my show, Andy. Yeah. You do the gags on yours. How about that?
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, wow. And I have told you this when I was the newsreader on BBC Peterborough Breakfast, when the presenter said, I'm really happy with you joining in, but as Tom O'Connor says on Crosswits, I do the gags. Yeah. And I was like, okay, red rag to it. But here we go. I'm going to try and be as funny as I've ever
also
been.
Just add, Max, that anytime you feel the need to preface an anecdote with, have I told you about it? Just don't bother, because you almost certainly have.
We should also say...
Jacobs? That's a gag.
Why are you starting a beef with Andy Jacobs? What's the...
He's on, what is it, 4 or 5 afternoons a week, 15 hours a week?
3, I think.
Can he not just keep his beak out of our show? I think he's on 96 England caps.
All right.
And he could probably do a job, but he's not going to get the 4, is he?
I don't think so. There's only how many have they got? They've got 2 before the World... Oh, no, he's got 4 before the World Cup. So if Tuchel doesn't strike me as a man of sentimentality at this stage. To suddenly shoehorn Kyle Walker in for the 2 last qualifiers and then the 2 friendlies up to the World Cup just to get him to 100. Go on, Thomas. If you had a heart. Dan says, predicting we'll get to about 1 p.m. when the top brass of talkSPORT will be seen missing from their seats as they storm down to alleviate Max and Barry from their positions. It is the warm-up on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins, doing what matters for the trade. Find out more at travisperkins.co.uk or download the app. Thanks to Matt, says Nicky Weaver. The Sizzler, Tony Cotton. Sarah says Ange Postecoglou. Yeah, okay. We'll do this while we've got nothing else to do, I guess. Should we go to the City Ground then? Ange is gone, sacked 21 minutes after the full-time whistle, 39 days, shortest permanent of all time. I mean, you could argue, Barry, that Forest should have been 4-0 up at half-time. Chelsea just kept giving Forest the ball.
Yeah.
Just have another go. And you could just see, and I'm very used to the Ange going, how's this happening? You know, and then it is a totally daft situation. There are all these, you know, Awoniyi, Elliot Anderson, Gibbs White, and then Gibbs White has another one. Chelsea make 3 subs, and okay, then they I think they're 2-0 up, and then the second goal, Matt Sells saves that free kick every game last season. Then Nico Williams boots one over the bar from nowhere. You just poor Ange just going, this is just my luck, isn't it? And I could do a good Ange with my voice this deep. There is something very sort of Roman emperor, or perhaps Greek. The Greeks have emperors. I should know this. Just about that big seat of Marinakis, and when they panned to it and it was empty, it was real theatre, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, he left, I think, not too long after the second goal went in, and it was fairly obvious, unless he had just gone to the gents for 2 minutes. It was fairly obvious that
they just never panned back, and he's just eating a pie.
Because I watched the game live, and then when Match of the Day was on, I was thinking, I bet you they'll do the cut to the seat with Marinakis in it, and then the cut to the seat with him no longer in it. And it is quite a conspicuous absence.
It is.
He's a
Yes,
big man.
Yes.
And then at the end of the game, he wasn't... Usually he greets the players on their way back into the dressing room. He wasn't standing there, so the players didn't have to, you know, do the big Vange chicken run of disgrace back into the dressing room. So, I mean, I guess Forest played quite well in the first half, like you say, yesterday, but anything good they did was largely based on the generosity of Chelsea's defenders, who kept giving them the ball. I think it was inevitable Ange was going to get sacked. I have seen since that as he drove out of the car park, he stopped for selfies with various fans who may not even have known he was sacked by then. And I'm kind of wondering, is it a big blot on his CV, or is it just a very lucrative blip, assuming he walks away with a massive payoff?
I mean, I suppose he will say it doesn't count as a second season because he didn't get a second season. So it doesn't affect his trophy haul statistic that he liked to.
And he was quite obviously going to be a bad fit. The only thing I'd really criticise him for is taking the job in the first place. But then he's probably going to get several million quid for less than 40 days' work. I'm chalking that up as a win.
But 40 days of really not doing what he's been asked to do. Like, the one thing you should try and do is get a win. Got none of them, and he's going to trounce a million.
But I still do think he was unlucky not to get a win. I mean,
I agree.
I think that the League Cup defeat against Swansea was a bit of a freak. I'm a Sunderland.
The Swansea winner in that game is one of the purest strikes for football you'll ever see. There's like 2 brilliant strikes within 10 seconds of each other. Yeah, you're right. That one.
Even as a Sunderland fan, I am happy to concede that they should have beaten Sunderland, and their defeat at the hands of Sunderland was pretty unlucky. Not least because the Sunderland goal came from a free kick that should not have been awarded. So, and they did play very well. But yeah, what isn't sustainable is the fact that Ange has only won one of his last 17 games as a Premier League manager, and that win was against last season's Southampton. Now, that's not sustainable. You are not a good Premier League manager if that is your Premier League record.
No. And it will be very hard for him to get a job back in the Premier League. So that, in that sense, taking this job was daft because the football was so different to Nuno. He could have looked at that squad and gone, actually, this squad is really quite talented. But the issue he had was the defence don't want to defend high. And that is a big problem if you want your defence to defend high. But I do think, if I was a Forest fan, I would be, okay, their owner has taken them to heights that they haven't had for years and years and years. So be happy for that. But the way he has messed up this situation, right?
Yeah.
Or him or Ed, by bringing in Edu who doesn't like Nuno or whatever, that is Nuno. What Nuno achieved was unbelievable. Okay, they tailed off, but to come that high in the Premier League, to be sniffing in for a Champions League spot when you are Nottingham Forest, it is hard. There are lots of good teams in the Premier League, right? It's hard to get that high. It's hard to be in the shout for 4th or 5th place, and to descend so quickly to now you have to get in Sean Dyche, right? Who is a very good Premier League manager at keeping in the Premier League. He will keep them in the Premier League. And then they'll be in the same situation in the summer or in 6 months. I'm sure Sean Dyche would disagree. But, his body of evidence suggests that Sean Dyche will keep you up. And he will do that. And he probably went down with Burnley once. I don't know.
He did, yeah. And brought them back.
Yeah, exactly. But he won't get you Champions League football.
No.
Or it seems unlikely. And maybe he's never had the squad to do it, is what he would say. So then Marinakis just puts himself in the same position. He's basically rehiring Nuno, but someone who's perhaps not quite as good as Nuno. I mean, it's hard to say. They seem pretty similar to me. But yeah, totally ridiculous from Marinakis. Martin says Barry always does a minute's silence during the footballer game. That's very good, isn't it? Jerry says, could you do guess the attendance early, Max? It's my favourite bit, just in case. That's very kind of you. Anyway, so I feel for Postecoglou. I'm really frustrated with, the narrative that he's some kind of fraud or some kind of charlatan. It's ridiculous. What he has achieved from a guy who landed in Australia as a 5-year-old on a boat with his family, and they didn't know anybody and they didn't speak a word of English, to get where he has got to in football is unbelievable. To win a European trophy, to have the success he's had in Australia, in Japan, in Scotland. He did win the Europa League. Lots of Tottenham managers haven't won a trophy. For him to have achieved all of that is pretty astounding from where he's come from. And it's ridiculous to suggest.
But
maybe the Premier League is his level.
I think the problem is, Max, that the only person I am aware of that sings Ange's plaudits and lists his achievements as much as you do is Ange.
Yeah,
and he shouldn't need to keep doing that.
But I think there is a hubris about. I mean, understandably, the Premier League is the highest level you can probably manage, right? I get that. You're coming up against the best managers. You're coming up against better managers than you ever managed before. It is relentless against better players. You obviously have a better set of players than you have before. So possibly the way that he wanted Tottenham to play more than this sort of 7-5 Premier League game debacle, is a sign that this was his level. But we are in the UK. We look down at the Scottish League, and they look down at the J League. The J League, I'm sure, look down at the A League. They're all football leagues where you have, it's the same thing. So to achieve success somewhere, it doesn't guarantee you'll do it somewhere else. But I think there is a sort of sniffiness about the way we perhaps look at football in other countries.
I don't necessarily agree.
Okay.
Well, until this season, the Scottish League, you've always known going into it, it's either going to be Celtic or Rangers. That was the way it was when I was growing up.
No, that's fair.
Then more recently, it's Celtic will win, but how much will they win it by? This year, there seems to be a suggestion, because Celtic aren't playing particularly well, Rangers are an absolute car crash, and I think they drew again yesterday against Dundee United at home. And Hearts, Tony Bloom, the Brighton owner, has got involved at Hearts. So seems to be a said, Hearts could do something interesting this season.
No, you make a good point about Scotland, but actually the other countries, he wasn't at the...
Well, I don't know anything about the J League. I've no idea how competitive it is or how or isn't. I just simply don't know.
But that's not a reason to dismiss it.
But I've no the J League isn't even on my radar to dismiss it.
No, I understand that, but if you don't know anything about it, and I don't know a lot about it, then you don't dismiss it. You just say you don't know about it. Whereas other people who know nothing about that or the A League will just go, well, it's just rubbish. It's just park football, without the knowledge. If you watch every game, you can decide. Sorry,
we were talking at cross purposes there.
Yeah.
It may be incredibly difficult to win. There may be one really dominant team that Ange happened to be in charge of. I just do not know. I don't know what the situation was. But I wouldn't criticise or dismiss anyone's achievement in winning anything. I don't win things.
Oh, come on.
Winning
Radio
things
Show of the Year, Podcast of the Year. You've got a trophy cabinet bigger than many broadcasters, Barry. Don't put yourself down.
But winning things is difficult. I remember Luton won something or other.
Littlewoods Cup.
Was it? No. Who was it? Mick Hartford. I just remember him being in charge of some team. I can't remember. It may not have been Luton. And they won a trophy. And it wasn't a very prestigious trophy, but I remember him saying to his players, you know, you've won a medal, you've won a trophy. Most footballers never win anything, but you've won something. So, you know, enjoy this and don't dismiss it just because it's only the Johnson Payne's trophy or whatever it was. I can't remember. That wasn't a very good anecdote.
But he was managing Brazil in 1970.
Oh, was that it?
It was the World Cup, yeah. Anyway, let's go to Sam Allard. He's watching England women take on India in the one day. How's it going, Sam?
It's going very well for England. Winning the toss, batting first. If England win this game, they will guarantee themselves a place in the semi-finals of the World Cup. We are into the 14th over and England are 65 without loss. They have actually struggled in the power play. The opening pairs not often getting off to good starts, but Amy Jones has been the real aggressor. Not out on 41, being well supported by Tammy Bowman, unbeaten on 19. So 14 overs gone. England winning the toss, batting first, 66 without loss.
Cheers, Sam. Matt says, if only Ange's dad had been a fisherman to complete his sob story. Jimmy says, Dyche did get us, Burnley, into the Europa League. Amazing achievement. Many moons ago now, I suppose. No, very good point. I'd take it all back. This is the warm-up on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins doing what matters for the trade. Find out more at travisperkins.co.uk or download the app. If you want a chance to win £100,000, you better listen up right now. That's right. Our biggest cash prize to date has landed, and we're going all in, giving you the chance to win a huge 100 grand, completely tax-free. And here are all the details of how to enter.
18 plus UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word cash to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 6th of November at 4 p.m. This is a TalkSPORT limited promotion run on TalkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
It must be a small market, Barry, for people who want to buy the stolen French crown jewels. I mean, because you can't just turn up to work in them. If you had arrived today with a bit, I don't know what the French crown jewels look like, but suddenly completely bejeweled from head to toe, I would wonder what had happened. So it's an interesting decision of what you're going to steal from. The same goes to the Mona Lisa, I get.
Oh, have we established that is why the Louvre...
In the news, they said it was the remains of the French crown jewels. Mm.
So it's not because Alistair Campbell or John Ketley have broken in to hang that second goal from yesterday's game.
Unless to divert people off the scent, Alistair Campbell now has the French crown jewels, and he's sharing them with Rory Stewart, or John Ketley's sharing them with Michael Fish. One of the two, we don't know. Or Ian McCaskill. Anyway, good luck to you if you have the French crown jewels. But, don't steal crown jewels. I probably should say for balance, don't steal the crown jewels.
Do we need to add balance?
I don't know. I don't know. It'd be a weird thing.
I reckon if you think you can get away with it, you have my full back. Go and try. Give it a bash.
Palace 3, Bournemouth 3. Some game this, wasn't it? Oh, Mateta in the 99th minute, ballooning it over the bar. I mean, he could have had 5. He was annoyed after, but this is a brilliant game.
Yeah, we need to talk about Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Okay.
I think he should be presented with the match ball for his hat-trick, and then he should immediately have to give it back on account of the 3 he missed. Did he have a good game or a bad game? I'm not sure.
Know.
He scored a hat-trick. He missed a sitter to win it. He should have had 6. But I think he made history yesterday as a footballer.
Okay. How's that?
I think he's the... when a team is behind and they score and someone does the David Platt, I think it was against Cam, you grab the ball out of the net, you dash back, you put it on the spot, ready for kick-off. I think Mateta's the first person who's ever done a double dash back after the same goal. Because Palace were 2-0 down. He scored. Yeah. He grabbed the ball from the net. He was on his way back to put it on the spot. but he was
it was ruled
interrupted because there was a VAR check. So he dropped the ball. He thought the goal was going to be disallowed. It wasn't. So he picked it back up again and continued to dash back to put it on the spot. And I've never seen a player do that before, a double dash.
Many congratulations. Well, in which case he had a good game because he's brought something new to this wonderful sport, the double dash back. Interestingly, Eli Krupi, who scored, the Bournemouth's first 2 goals.
Is he another player you've never heard of?
No, well, here it is. He's a 19-year-old from France. So somewhere between Eli Krupi scoring on the second game on Match of the Day and our mate Loom scoring on the last game is when I gave up looking up footballers I hadn't heard of. So I did look up Eli Krupi.
I'm going to guess there were probably a few Chelsea players, or at least substitutes you'd never heard of in the first game.
I barely know any.
I've given up on Chelsea. I'm a Sunderland fan. They keep fielding guys I've never heard of. So who are you?
You're so right with Chelsea. Because whenever you say, you do a flippant joke about Chelsea having too many players, someone always says they've just got the same number of players as everyone else.
No, I don't think that's true.
You can only have your 25, but you can have your academy. But whenever you make a sort of sniffy remark that you haven't researched, some Chelsea fan will say, it's just the same as everyone else. But hey, I think they're cloning. They might be cloning people. I'm not sure. But just new people come out. They all look quite good. Dan says, I'm now the proud owner of a French crown jewel. Don't ask questions. Just acknowledge my success as a winner. Matt says, how did you feel when Ryan Christie finally got his goal you predicted? Yes, I think I predicted he'd score in the opening game of the season, despite being injured. In fact, I was doing Hawksby and Jacobs, and you messaged me in something you don't like other presenters doing to tell me.
No, I was just providing you with information. I wasn't trying to hijack the show with my comedy stylings. I just made the point that you'd made a mistake, and I was helping you to correct it.
Yes, Andy Jacobs has got in touch to say Ian McCaskill no longer with us. So, it would have to be a sort of Weekend at Bernie's style thing if John Kelly used to just drive around with Ian in a golf cart. Anyway, it was a brilliant game, Palace-Bournemouth. Very hard to analyse, so we haven't really analysed it, but we've done a bit of it. City 2, Everton 0. I thought the interesting thing about Michael Richards on Match Today was quite interesting when he went through what the Everton defence did when Erling Haaland scored his 2 goals and basically said they did everything absolutely right. But the trouble is Erling Haaland's really good, and so he scored twice.
I don't remember. I think I must have whizzed past that bit of analysis. Sorry, Mika. But yeah, he's very good. And you're going out on a limb and calling it. Erling Haaland is good at football. Who knew?
I'm trying to guess. Yeah, I'm trying to get us on the Instagram.
The thing is, he scored that goal in the second half, and up until that point, you kind of forgot he was on the pitch because he didn't really do anything.
No.
And occasionally he'll disappear for an entire game, which allows cynics like me to make stupid comments about him being a flat track bully. But no, he's clearly a very, very good player, and he scored about 20 goals in his last 11 games for club and country. So yeah, he's doing something right.
It's daft. It was a prodigious leap, wasn't it, for the header? I really, really enjoyed that. He looks great when he jumps really high in the air. There's just something so athletic about it and just so sort of otherworldly, like the Hemsworth brothers together. It's like Thor, just sort of like coming down from the sky with a big lightning bolt to just bullet a header into the corner and then whiz back up somewhere. Perhaps that's where he goes. Perhaps he goes to where the Norse gods go? Valhalla.
Yeah.
Perhaps he wanders off to Valhalla. That's why he doesn't get any touches. He's in Valhalla for like 70 minutes of the game, and then he just comes down and scores and kicks a ball at 300 miles an hour and then goes off up there. I mean, Everton created a little bit before. You've got to take your chances at City. I love and Dye's feet. I think they're wonderful. Beto had a bit of a... I think it was... they said, it was a tap-in. It wasn't. It was going quite fast. A sort of Gaza Euro 96 type miss. But David Moyes said, look, we did okay. See you next week kind of thing, didn't he?
I have to say, I'm really fed up with that rule that forbids people lining up against their parent club, players who are on loan.
Yeah, me too.
The one that meant Jack Grealish was not allowed to play yesterday, because I think he would have absolutely loved to have played against City and, just sewn it into them, if you know what
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh,
if he'd
I totally
scored
agree.
or if Everton had won and he'd played a part in it, I don't think we'd be seeing any celebrations there.
I'm with you.
He'd be
I'm with you.
right over at Pep's technical area, giving it the big one.
Where do you want to go? Do you want to do a bit of Sunderland? So we're sort of running a little bit tight for time with the Premier League. We've got, I don't know, 3 games to get through. We'll find some time in the show to do them.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably talk about Arsenal, but it wasn't that entertaining a game.
No.
It was a difficult game for them, but they got through it and they scored from a corner. And I don't really have much more to say about that.
Well, what I've written here is, obviously, it's a shame that Calafiore goal didn't count because it was a brilliant goal. It was just such a really lovely finish. I thought Fulham were good in this game. I felt like a lot of the game was Harry Wilson cutting inside and not getting enough purchase on a shot. Mick Jagger was there. And
Yeah,
I've written-
I wanted to talk about Fulham cutaways, actually. Craven Cottage cutaways.
Yeah, okay.
So, normally, it's Hugh Grant.
It is Hugh Grant.
And if Hugh Grant isn't there, it's the Osmond brothers. Richard, if he's there on his own or with his wife Ingrid. Or Richard, if he's there with his brother Matt, who's the bass player from Suede. They never cut away. Matt's not well known enough to have his own cutaway.
I understand.
So he will only get in the cutaway if he's sitting beside Richard.
Yeah.
But
I don't
I'm
think
wondering
that should-
if
I
they're
don't-
all there, is the camera, did the producer go, right, cut away to Jagger because he's more famous than Grant? I reckon there's a Craven Cottage cutaway hierarchy, which goes Jagger, Grant, Osman and Osman and Mrs. Osman.
Right.
But
I see.
never
And that's the order.
Osman, Suede Osman. It has to be House
Yeah.
of Games. We
understand.
We solved murders, Osman.
Yeah, and I don't think Matt Osman should feel bad because I think in the hierarchy cutaway, the only bass player they would cut to is the Edge from Used 2, whatever game.
Who
he's
is not a bass player.
Is he not? Well,
No,
there you go.
Adam Clayton.
So, yeah. Oh, is Adam Clayton the bass?
Yeah.
But they wouldn't cut to him. He's not famous enough.
No, well, bass
don't
players know their place in life. They're
Yeah.
just above drummers and nowhere near lead guitarists, singers, etc.
So who's the most famous bass player?
I personally would say Mark King from Level 42
Yeah, well, he's
or
not
Phil
gonna cut to me.
Lynott from Thin Lizzy. But then my knowledge of music ends at about 1997, Max.
Sure, well, it's
So-
better than mine since I only had one, and he doesn't play the bass.
Yeah. Get us on the text. What bass players are we missing out on? 81089, please, on the text.
Someone will just tell us that Paul McCartney played the bass.
Oh, yeah, he
guitar.
did.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
There'll be a
competition over.
There'll be a cutaway of Paul McCartney. I thought he did. Back in my mind, I thought he did, but I didn't want to make another fool of myself after the Edge error that I made previously. But anyway, there you are, Arsenal fans. You'll probably win the league. And it's Max and Barry with you until 1:30. And we'll get the latest odds from William Hill in just a second. Somebody walked in and looked at the text board and they just wonder why it just says sting, flee, sting, flee, sting, flee, sting, flee, sting, flee.
We left out Yeah Wobble as well, who I think has been on this show. Big Spurs fan, very famous bass player. Sorry, Mr. Wobble.
Also, one of the best Mr. Men. But apparently Mick Jagger's an Arsenal fan anyway. 'Cause I didn't think he was in the Fulham hierarchy of cutaways.
I thought he was a Fulham regular.
Oh, well,
He must live near Craven Cottage or something.
Well, listen. Well, they were playing Arsenal. That's another reason why.
Oh, well,
he
there
might
is
have
that
been
too,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Possibly. Anyway, how many mistakes can we make in 5 minutes? That's the question. This is slowly descending into two old men sitting at a bar. I'm sure he was... I think he was in Queen, wasn't he? I don't know. Hey, Mavis, what do you think? Anyway, this is the warm-up on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. For the latest big trade deals, head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app. Let's look at the latest odds ahead of today's action with William Hill.
In the Zone on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Final One Standing. New from William Hill. 18 plus gambleaware.org. Terms and conditions apply.
Ben Barrett joins us. Hey, Ben, you okay?
Yeah, good morning, chaps. How you both doing?
We're
very
well.
good. Thanks very much. So, look, 2 games today. Should we start then at Tottenham? That's the 2 o'clock kickoff. Spurs versus Aston Villa.
Yeah, I'm really hoping this is going to be quite entertaining, actually, because we've got two sides in pretty good nick at the moment. Tottenham are 23-20 to get the win. The draw 12-5. Aston Villa 23-10. I'm hoping for goals. This exact fixture was 4-1 last season. Over 2.5 goals is 5-6. Over 3.5 goals is 21-20. We've got a couple of special boosts on this game. Richarlison, simply to have a shot on target, is our epic boost of the game. Should be a heavy odds on price. We're going to give you even money. And impact sub does apply. So if Richarlison starts, doesn't have his shot on target, and then is replaced a little bit later on, and that player coming on does have a shot on target, we will still honour those epic boost bets. I do think it's worth giving a couple of players a shout out on the old goal scorer front as well. Matis Tell got a couple of goals in the international break, 3-3 for him now after a couple for France under 21s. He's 15-8 to score at any time. As for the Villa side, Donyell Marlin, he had a good international break as well, 5-2 that he lands a goal at any point this afternoon. I do think we can see plenty of goals and hopefully plenty of entertainment on that one.
What about Liverpool, Manchester United?
Yeah, I think this could be really, really interesting because Liverpool coming into this off the back of 3 straight defeats, but now they're back at Fortress Anfield. I think their odds-on price of 6-10 is probably about justified. The draw is 17-5 here, whilst Man United are 19-5. We've got an epic boost on this game as well, and that's for Mo Salah to score or assist. We don't mind which. Should be a heavy odds-on price. Is now even money, and we'll keep Impact Sub live for that one as well. Both teams to scores definitely a play here. Only Arsenal have gone to Anfield and failed to score this season. So if you want to combine the two, Liverpool to win and both teams to score is 13-8. But that does require getting a goal out of Manchester United, and they can be few and far between. As for all the chat regarding Isak and Ekitike, Cody Gakpo is the man in form. He got that consolation, of course, against Chelsea before the international break, and then had a really good international break, getting goals for the Dutch. He's 15-8 to score at any time. For the short price that Isak and Ekitike are on the goal scorer markets, Gakpo might be the value. As for Manchester United, it is Cunha at 5-2 and Benjamin Sesko at 23-10 who lead the betting. I think Liverpool at home should be too strong, but again, I can see goals there in that one.
Do you have odds on not just the next Forest manager, but the one after that?
We should price up 3 or 4 down the road, don't we? At some point, you and I are going to get a go, I think. It seems to be Sean Dyche. 4-7. He leads the market, and it's fairly warm. He's been favourite and heavy favourite pretty much since the minute that Postecoglou was booted out. Roberto Mancini's been linked. I've seen his name on a couple of occasions. 5-2 second favourite. Marco Silva, the Fulham boss, 3-1 is next. Rafa Benitez at 6s, and then we get into those at bigger prices, including both Danny Roll and Steven Gerrard, who both reportedly turned Rangers down. Whether or not they're waiting for a chance in the Premier League, maybe this is it.
All right, good stuff, Ben. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
That was today's odds of William Hill's Gold Weekend. More offers and more value. Visit williamhill.com for all the latest offers. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Final One Standing. New from William Hill. 18 plus gambleaware.org. Terms and conditions apply.
getting to the business end of the Women's One Day World Cup. England batting against India. Sam Allard is watching for talkSPORT. How are we going, Sam?
We're going along nicely, Max. It's a good start. A win for England would secure their place in the semi-finals. 20 overs gone, England 92 for 1. The wicket to fall, Tammy Beaumont never really got going. Faced 43 balls for 22 runs. Dipti Shah bowled a 4-ball that Beaumont looked to sweep. She was bowled round her legs. Amy Jones been a little bit short of runs in this tournament. Played nicely. She's just got past 50. She's unbeaten on 55, and the experienced Heather Knight making her 300th international appearance in at 3. She's unbeaten on 6. So a good platform for England to build on. 20 overs gone. England 92 for 1.
Thanks, Sam. Donald says, tell Glendenning Mick Jagger's a massive gooner, not a Fulham fan. This is from UK Mets fan. Says, thanks for quickly putting an end to me shouting Paul McCartney at my radio.
Yeah, that we really rescued that to death.
God, if we did a footballer game but with bass players, God, it would go on for a very long time, wouldn't it? Anyway, it is Max and Barry here on the warm-up. We'll start looking ahead to this afternoon's games in just a second. We'll begin with Noreen Chowdhury at Bearded Genius on Twitter and Instagram, and author and Manchester United fan, and we'll ask if he has any idea what to expect from Manchester United this afternoon.
I'm running out of things to ask about Manchester United because... Wow.
What have you got in your locker? How do you think they'll go? What's a good result for you? Do you
want Ange see
Amorim probably?
Or yeah. Should Amorim change his surname to something that doesn't start with A? Yeah, we'll muddle through. But
okay. I feel pretty comfortable and confident about it. But if you have any questions that you want Barry to ask about Manchester United, let us know. 8:10:89.
But it's just it's not that it's different questions because it's the same thing that's always wrong with them.
Listen, I think if you're worried about this show sounding the same as previous shows that we've done, I don't think you need to worry. Well, look, Noz will join us. We'll see what happens. We'll have the sports headlines first.
Everyone knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers. The terms manager and head coach are often used interchangeably to describe Premier League bosses, but they're actually two different jobs. So let's explain how and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
I don't think so, no.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025 there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
Good afternoon, you are listening to the world's biggest sports radio station. It's talkSPORT. Max Rushden and Barry Glendenning with you until 1:30. Just a sort of public service announcement, Barry. People could stop texting us who plays bass for who and who's a famous bassist. I just, as we've established in the last hour, I've now reached my limit, elastic limit of footballers. I can't have more information put into my brain. It's eminently obvious why my 6 music pilot didn't go so well, and I'm in the right place. At least I think so. And if we could just put an end to that, and Barry and I will never mention the bass again. That is a promise.
I can't make that promise, Max. I'm
Can you
afraid.
not?
I
Right,
like
because
saying wobble too much.
You've just got funk in your bones, is that right? You just can't help yourself.
I just cannot help slam dunking that funk. Maybe you should delete your entire Culverhouse database from your mental hard drive. Think of all the terabytes that would free up for up-and-coming footballers and bass players.
You're right. I mean, it's quite difficult to do, isn't it? I mean, it's a difficult process.
I'm sure you could go to a hypnotist or something and they'd sort you out quick, sharp.
Paul McKenna managed to stop everyone from smoking, and now I say, I've just got Panini 86 and 87. It's front and centre of my brain. Yeah. And there are things that should be in front of it, like, worrying about the world, thinking about how I'm meant to be a good father. But all I can see All I can see is Steve Athrobus.
And Dean White.
To stop and make it stop, Paul. Make it stop. Anyway, Liverpool play Manchester United at Anfield later today, and Barry has no interesting questions about Manchester United. But we'll see how he goes. I reckon he's got it in his locker. Noradine Chowdhury, author and Manchester United fan, joins us. Hey, Naz, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, except I wanted to talk about bass players.
Who's your favourite, Naz?
Well, if we're talking Manchester, there's obviously Manny from Stone Roses.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, okay, Manny.
Big,
Sorry,
big
Manny.
United fan. We a few years ago we lost Andy Rourke from the Smiths, another United fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just for balance, when I was growing up, the most famous City fans were either Bernard Manning or Kevin.
Did he play bass?
No, he didn't. But Kevin
Bernard
Kennedy.
Manning. Yeah.
Kevin Kennedy, who's currently what's in Coronation Street, he played bass with Johnny Marr in a band called the Paris Valentinos.
Right. I knew that was on the tip of my tongue.
And Andy Rourke was a friend of the show, Max, back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I feel bad now we forgot him. And he's a brilliant bass player.
Oh, really? Lovely bloke as well.
Blimey. Gene Simmons says this text. Will you ever talk football, FFS? So bored with the waffle. Send that in one text message and you save yourself 50p, by the way, next time. So can we talk about it then, Naz? Like, what? I mean, we've had an international break. That's so long ago to remember what happened. We beat Sunderland, and obviously people like me went, United are back. Tongue-in-cheek. But I thought actually Amarim was quite sensible after that game, and he was like, well, look, we won that game, but it's not really enough, is it? We should be winning that game, and now it's about cracking on.
Yeah, and in a funny way, today will prove nothing. Like United could easily beat Liverpool, and it wouldn't really prove anything beyond beating Liverpool, which would obviously be amazing for United fans. But it's that same thing of like undulating form of going up and down and no consistency. So I mean, at the moment, it kind of feels like United in the 80s before Fergie got sorted things out, where you're just looking forward to these big games, like Liverpool's big game, and a win is a win against the Scousers at any point, even when they're in relegation form.
Yeah. So you're right. So it could, well, when you put it like that, you know, that if they do, because Big Sir Jim said he needs 3 years, right? I don't know if that was before the Sunderland game or in the international break. You sort of think, you know, you've tried so many, you might as well just let him have 3 years, see what happens.
Exactly, and it's also that thing of Amarim is a really good manager. I think he's shown that before he came to United. But one of the things that you could criticise the club for, and perhaps him for, was taking the job when he did, like mid-season, like he was unfailing to nothing. And if you get rid of him now, the next manager has exactly the same problem. So in a way, it's almost a case of like, you've made your bed, you've chosen this guy, now trust him, because it's as much as he's responsible, you're now responsible as well. So we'll see.
And do you trust him, Naz? Because Andy Mitten, I heard him on a podcast, possibly your podcast, say he seems quite happy for Amarim to stay there for the foreseeable and to be given every chance. Are you in the same boat?
I am, but I am like in spite of myself, because there's so much evidence to the contrary. Like any time I've spoken to you about United or spoken to anyone about United, I keep on saying, like, there's things we can see. There's signs we can see that the team's coming together, and like you can see the vision that Amarim's trying to sort of inject and play. But then United will lose, and the points obviously mean everything. So yeah, I am still on board, but I just wish he'd give us more of an opportunity to sort of like say, see, look at where we are. We're eighth now. Can you believe that we're eighth? So like we just need a bit of showing that with the actual results, I think.
What are the signs? What are the little signs?
The signs are that you can see the way the sort of team sets up. So you can see that, for instance, Dorgu, he's had a lot of criticism this season where he gets in amazing positions and doesn't quite have the final ball. But the fact he keeps on getting in these really dangerous positions shows you that it's working, what he's trying to do. And the flip side of that is when, for some reason, Amarim plays Dalot. and he's not this attacker wing back, we're totally stunted. But as soon as he puts Ahmad in, and then Ahmad is playing alongside the same sort of right-hand side as Brian and Bumo, you suddenly see that looks really exciting. And then you've got the goalkeeper, who I think, like the two goalkeepers so far this season have cost United points. But as soon as you've got a goalkeeper who looks semi-competent, then that gives you hope. So there's little things that sort of make you think this is a good team. And also, like, I think Sesko looks really good. I think the attack in general looks really good. For some reason, I really fancy Cunha to score today because he's due one. But I think the biggest thing with United is still, and we've discussed this before, that midfield. And there's still a concern at United that, as well as the rest of the teams playing, have we got a combination in the middle that works?
And have you? Because that was going to be my first question. Next question was going to be about Casemiro and Fernandes and what if you could, if everyone's fit and everyone's there, what is that? Because it's hard in a 2 when everyone else is in a 3.
Well, it's more a case of if everyone was on form, because he's got so many detractors and a lot of it for good reason. But Ugarte is the kind of midfielder that United need and want in there, in that he's loads of energy, loads of legs, really aggressive in the press and everything. But he happens to be really, really sort of struggling at times and not showing the form he did when he was playing under Amorim before. So he is the right kind. He's the perfect kind of midfielder in that 6th position if he's playing well. But then again, you could say that about other players. Like Casemiro can play well. Bruno's a bit of a weird one because he's always our match winner, but is he a midfielder? That's always been the thing with him. So yeah, it's a difficult one.
Do you think Bruno's being played in the right position by Amorim? Would you prefer him further up the pitch? He doesn't seem that happy himself out on the field at the moment.
He doesn't, but the problem is that, like, again, it's about having this discipline and this responsibility of, like, performing your role, because in a weird way, the same problems he's got in both positions, because when he's playing in midfield, he goes forward quite a lot and leaves that space unattended, and he's not got the responsibility of tracking back. But if you play him in the front 3, he ends up just coming into midfield. So it doesn't work either way. He just needs to perform his role in the team and not be this maverick who just floats around doing amazing things. That works really well if your team is rubbish and you can be like the Roy the Rovers player who gets a winner, but not for a team that wants to sort of build and do good things.
Would you take a creditable 1-0 defeat, but you saw lots of good signs today?
I mean, begrudgingly, I'd much rather take a really jammy, sort of dysfunctional performance that proves nothing, but we've won the game, because it's Liverpool. Like any other team, like, fair enough, like, it's Liverpool. We just need to win against them.
No, fair enough. Do you think you will? Like, what's your gut saying?
Do you know what? I'm going to say yeah, because
okay, good.
It's it's that thing of it'll prove nothing. If we win today, it'll prove nothing. But why not? Like, let's win. Yeah, we're going to do it.
Okay. And we'll remind us of your podcast.
It's called the Good Days Are Coming.
Yeah, you and Justin and
it's
the other Jim White.
Yeah, the other Jim. So it's feeling more and more ironic as we go along. So yeah, so we'll see.
It's a great name.
By the way, I'm loving the voice. I'm especially loving it when you laugh, because you don't sound like Frank Bruno, but you sound like Jim Davidson doing an impression of Frank Bruno, which is amazing. There you go. There it is.
Oh no, that's terrible. When I have a cold, my laugh sounds like Jim Davidson doing an impression of Frank Bruno.
Your cough gets you cancelled.
That's it. Oh no. It's really caught me that. Anyway, thanks, Noz. Nice to chat.
Right, see ya.
Noreen Chowdhury there at Bearded Genius. Real mixed messages we're getting here on the. It's almost as if not everyone likes the same thing, Barry. Keep up the waffle, says Graham. Blakey says, tell Barry he's got the wrong Smiths band member. It was Mike Joyce, not Andy Rourke, who used to come on your show. So I thought that was.
No, we've had Joyce. Both.
Have we?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Fair enough. Richard says, I cannot be the only middle-aged male listening to talkSPORT who does not care one jot who plays what musical instruments in any band ever. Please stop. Richard, I'm going to put out there that you are not the only one. But it was just where the conversation went. We can't help it. It just happens sometimes. And, we'll do some other stuff in a bit. But, appreciate your feedback all the same. It's Max and Barry on the warm-up in partnership with Travis Perkins, doing what matters for the trade. Find out more at travisperkins.co.uk or download the app. We'll play the footballer game next. Wayne's been in touch, so not sure why you're surprised about the Jim Davidson comparison. All you woke lefties sound alike to me. Thank you, Wayne. It is Max and Barry with you on the warm-up until 1:30 in partnership with Travis Perkins. For the latest big trade deals, head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app. Back to the cricket. India's women against England in the World Cup one day, as Sam Allard.
England 127 for 2 after 27 overs. So the second wicket to fall was Amy Jones. She got to 56, then played a pretty loose loose shot off the spinner Dipty. Full ball coming down the wicket, driving it to the fielder. A short cover who took a good catch. So the first wicket partnership for England was worth 73 runs. India picking up a couple of quick wickets. Beaumont and Jones going in quick succession. The third wicket partnership, though, off to a good start for England, worth 30 runs. Heather Knight unbeaten on 27. Nat Sivabrunt has 14 runs to her name. So as we approach the 30 over mark, where they say if you've got wickets in hand, you more likely than not double your score. England going along nicely. 27 overs completed. Knight and Sivabrunt at the crease. England 128 for 2.
Sam, question. And don't feel obliged, but would you like to play the footballer game? We're going to play with Perry in a minute. Oh, he's gone. Where's he gone?
Yeah.
Are you there, Sam?
I'm here.
Okay, do you want to play the football
Yes,
game?
please.
Okay, great. Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
You stay there. Graham
I'm going nowhere.
good stuff. Graham in Kirkcaldy's been in touch. He's out with his dog Alfie. You do have a cold, he says. I thought it was just my new Bluetooth speaker. A bit more bass. I don't mention the bass, Graham, whatever you do. Don't mention the bass. Thought I'd put Radio 4 on, he says. Anyway, after us, I can't remember what it's called anymore. Game Day Live, Perry Groves, and the rest of the team. How are you, Perry?
I'm good. I'm actually flying, Max. I can confirm it is talkSPORT Game Day Live. Sunday Game Day Live. Not Sunday session.
talkSPORT, right, yeah.
Not around the grounds.
Yeah.
Game Day Live.
Okay, it's because I heard that there's that advert where, someone's getting confused about your show and the Henry and Sean show before us. And obviously makes no mention of our show because they're embarrassed about it. We understand that. And they were calling it the Sunday sessions. I just want everyone to get in order so we know what it is.
Well, it can be.
Game Day Live.
It's a movable feast. It can be the Sunday session in international week, international break.
Got it.
Do you know what I mean?
Right,
See?
I understand. All we want is consistency, Clive. That's what we want. What's coming up then this afternoon? Where are you, by the way?
I'm at Spurs Villa.
Obviously, you in disguise?
I was in a bit of a disguise, but it's like, when you have your wedding and there's a member of your family that you don't really want there, but you have to invite them because your mum will get the ump otherwise. So I'm that person. That's why I'm here. But I've got to be honest, very, very welcoming, always welcoming here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I'm obviously Spurs Villa. We've got Sam and Crookie and Henry of Liverpool Man United. Bit of Men in Black. Review yesterday's games. All sports report. Anything that's going on. If you've got curveball in your street, talkSPORT will be all over it.
Oh, I like this. Yeah, okay. If you're playing anything, let them know. Okay, all right. Well, let's play the football again.
I might be playing pool later this afternoon, Perry. Would you like me to call in, tell you,
can you just give us, just give us a little tweet or a text or a voice note.
I'll give you a text when mine is the second name down on the board.
So basically, you're Barry Hearn. You're a ringer.
No, I'm just Barry.
Just Barry. Yeah. But so we'll have the anticipation. Your 50p's on the pool table. That's when you'll start going, I'm up next.
No, you see, you've already made a mistake, Max. You don't put an actual 50p on the table because someone will steal it. You just put down a 5p or a penny, or else you write names on the blackboard.
Okay. Not in the gastropubs that I go in.
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
Let's play the footballer game, everybody. Here's Reese.
Hi.
Out of 10, how are you?
Oh, we're flying, mate. We'll go for an 8.
Lovely stuff. Okay, Max versus Barry versus Perry versus Sam. Here we go.
Our first footballer began his career at West Ham United in 1985, where he stayed until 2002, scoring just the once in 399 appearances.
Steve Potts.
It is Steve Potts.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
Come on.
Max, that is sharp.
Thank you so much, guys.
Well, he came up in conversation in last week's show.
I think that's
because his son is currently playing for West Ham.
So Freddie,
you were about to say,
I think it's because what it is, the lemon and honey. I think you're just in a zone now. Do you know what I mean? I think you're just floating.
I'm
no
so
pressure.
Zinged.
Exactly.
I'm so zinged. And Perry, it's a massive square. I mean, this is pretty much the closest I've ever got to taking drugs. This honey and lemon, right? So, I'm absolutely buzzing.
What you want to do, Max, next time, put in a bit of ginger.
Ginger's the answer.
Yeah,
Ginger's the answer to everybody's ills.
You won't know. If I put ginger in, I'll be a different human being. Extraordinary. So there we go. Let's see. If I get all three that quick, then we'll know something. We'll know this is my pseudo.
We'll be asking you to pee in a cup.
It'll be like Dylan the Rabbit off the Magic Roundabout.
Here we go. Player 2.
Our second footballer began his career at Colchester United in 1998, staying until year 2000.
Mark Kinsella.
Loire.
It is Le Mans.
Goodness me.
Oh, come on, look at this.
This is going to new heights.
I am. Yes, it's obviously. I'm also engrossed in this one-day international as well. It's hard to do both, you know.
This is like that episode of The Overlap, the recent one where Gary Neville goes, we came off the pitch against, and he wouldn't name the specific Italian side we all knew he was talking about. We knew they were on something. We knew. This is how I'm looking at Max now.
Oh, God, there's pressure on me now.
His elixir of honey, lemon, and soon-to-be-added ginger.
That little spike.
I should also point out that about 20 minutes ago I had a Greek vanilla bean yogurt with 12 grams of natural protein. So I am, this is the concoction that you need.
So, Max, when you do your drugs test, right, you can legitimately say, there's something in the yogurt. It wasn't me. Didn't know what was going on. Nothing.
You're absolutely right. You can. Here we go. Player 3 then.
Our third and final footballer began his career at River Plate in 2010, staying until 2014, scoring 12 times in 84 games, taking in a loan in Brazil. No. With Fluminense in the 2011-2012 season, scoring 5 in 37. It was then off to the Middle East with Al Jazeera, where he scored 8 goals. No, in 24 games, taking in a loan at West Ham for the 2015-16 season, where he scored 6 in 26. Nope. He then moved to West Ham permanently in 2016, where he stayed until 2023, scoring 21 goals in 153 games. It was back off to River Plate between 2023 and 2025, scoring once in 47. And he currently plays for Vélez Sarsfield back in Argentina, where he has so far made just the one appearance.
Okay. One of my favourite bits of this football game ever is just you sitting in an empty Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and yelling the word Hulk.
Lanzini? Lanzini?
It is Manuel Lanzini.
Yeah, there we go.
Google stuff.
Well done.
No, there's no Googling. You can't get an answer right and then just be accused of Googling every time, can you?
I agree. No. There's no Google. I trust you, Sam.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Poor from you, Terry. Come on.
If I didn't trust you, you'd have no place in this game.
Thank you.
Without honesty in the footballer game,
there's no point.
There's no point.
There is no point in anything.
No.
So look, what a game. Max 2, Sam 1. Barry, thanks so much. Rob says, enhanced games come to talkSPORT. Who knew? Yeah. I've got to pay for my family somehow, so I took the million. And I'm absolutely whacked on steroids, but it was worth it for Steve Potts and Loire Loire. Cheers, Perry. Have a good show.
Cheers, boys.
It is Max and Barry on the warm-up till 1:30. We'll do some EFL next. Good afternoon. You are listening to the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max Rushden and Barry Glendenning with you until 1:30. Then Sunday game day live after us. Keeping you posted on Spurs, Villa, on Liverpool, Manchester United, of course, and all the other sport, including the England's women in the Cricket World Cup as well. Let's do a bit of EFL. EFL expert Si Watts joins us. Simon, how are you?
Very good, Max. Very good, thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. Some really interesting results in the Championship. I was just sort of looking down the bottom, seeing Sheffield United getting a win. Is that Chris Wilder's second, or has he got a win and 3 draws so far?
Yeah, second win. He got a victory in his first game in charge. No, second game in charge at Oxford. But a couple of iffy results after that, and an important result against Watford yesterday as well.
Yeah, so which is interesting to see at the bottom as well. Sheffield Wednesday lost 2-1 at Charlton, but they've got 6 points as well. And then you had like Birmingham and Wrexham, who both came up, and I don't know if you were expecting them to sort of carry on up the leagues as they had, or thought the Championship would be where they've stopped. But it's interesting seeing Birmingham losing at home to Hull. They haven't lost at home for a while. They're 17th, and Wrexham going down. Who did I've got them in front of them? Losing at Stoke as well.
Stoke. Yeah. One of the misses of the season featured in that Stoke defeat as well from poor Ryan Longman when it was 0-0. Hit the post from about 3 yards out. And of the teams coming up, I actually thought Birmingham were possibly better equipped with the squad they've got in place, and the mere fact that they've been an established Championship club before their relegation and 1 season in League One. Losing at home to Hull is a big bump in the road, namely because, Hull are a team that you would probably expect to beat at home. They've been doing all right, Birmingham, this season. But obviously the Championship is a whole different thing. The kind of money that they've spent this year, I think in excess of £30 million, is kind of par for the course for top-end Championship clubs. So even though it is a lot for Birmingham to be spending, and certainly that kind of money for Wrexham is, but when it comes to the Championship, that's kind of what you have to do. It was their first home defeat in over 30 matches, first home defeat since February last year. It was an interesting one, though, because a couple of sort of refereeing decisions that, watching the highlights, looked a little bit dubious. Jack Robinson been sent off for the second time in the space of a month. Basically, what was a pretty obvious corner for Birmingham when they were trailing in the game. He gave a goal, kicked the referee. He was already on a booking, Jack Robinson, so had a bit of a go at the ref and saw himself sent off. And that was a big turning point in the game. And as I say, they were 2-1 down at the time. Not so long after that, Hull scored their third and put the game beyond them. So I think they'll feel a little bit hard done by with that result. But you know, we're at that stage now where last week or the week before the international break, we had our first kind of week of 3 games in 7 days, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. And I think now it's starting to really test people's squads and throw up those sort of random results that you often get in the Championship, where teams you expect to win start dropping points, etc., etc. And you're really seeing what, you know, certainly the best squads are made of in the division now.
Coventry leading the way still, and they're doing, I mean, obviously they're top, they're doing so well, but I don't know if you expected them to be doing this well.
I don't think anyone could have expected them to be doing quite this well. I think most thought that the way they finished second half of last season, that it would be a good season for them. What I found really interesting, Victor Torp and Brandon Thomas-Asante got both their goals in their 2-0 win against Blackburn yesterday. Both real Frank Lampard-type goals, ghosting in on the edge of the box and sort of rifling the ball into the net. And afterwards, Frank Lampard talked about, you know, it's no luck in that. They work on it on the training ground all the time, and that's why they're, you know, scoring a lot of these types of goals. And you look at the statistics, I mean, they've won their last 4 matches and they've scored 14 goals in that run. They haven't conceded in their last 5 games. And I was looking at the table, the goal difference is incredible. You know, they scored 29 goals this season, and putting that into context, Middlesbrough in second have scored less than half of that, 14 goals. They're keeping them shut out at the other end too. Maybe it's probably not sustainable in quite the kind of level that they're winning at the moment, but they look by far and away the outstanding team in the Championship this season for sure. And, you know, that backs it up with all the statistics. As I say, 29 goals scored. The next top scorers in the division, Bristol City, have 16.
So, I mean, Bristol City beat Norwich at Carrow Road yesterday. Liam Manning obviously left Bristol City to go to Norwich, and it's not going particularly well for him there. Is he in danger of losing his job?
That's a lot of the talk at Carrow Road at the minute. I'm covering their game on Tuesday night away at Derby County, which becomes a really important game for both teams because Derby lost to Oxford at the weekend, and both are the kind of position in the table they would not expect to be. Certainly Norwich, when Liam Manning came in the summer, they backed him with a lot of big money signings, but a lot of signings that they bought a lot of potential. And I think that's maybe the one thing that could salvage his job at the moment, because Norwich fans aren't particularly happy. They're fed up of hearing the words transition. They had it last year after David Wagner, an experienced manager who got them into the playoffs, was replaced by Johan Hoff-Thorup, who was a young manager who didn't get them to where they wanted to be. So they replaced him with Liam Manning. And as you say, it kind of really underlines how bad a season it's been. They lost all 6 matches at home in all competitions this season, and fans unhappy as well. They're being relocated from behind the goal to the side of the pitch to make way for more corporate seats and away fans, and that kind of thing rubs up supporters the wrong way as well, especially when they're not winning home games. So it really is a bad atmosphere at Carrow Road at the moment, and Liam Manning is definitely fighting to keep his job, because the problem is he's come in and results, it's not just the results, but the style of football isn't particularly pleasing on the eye to watch either at the moment. And yes, they can look at this being a transitional period and young players who are going to get better over time. But at the moment, fans need to start seeing results, because from expecting to be pushing the top 6, they're getting sucked into a relegation battle at the moment. And losing at home to the club that he left for Norwich in the summer is particularly galling, really.
Yeah. Stoke in third, just more proof of how good Mark Robins is as a manager.
It is, and you know what I'm really liking seeing this year, the kind of rise. Again, in the Championship, you get such a cosmopolitan set of managers, but you look at the top end of the table, Millwall winning at QPR at the weekend, Alex Neil got the job there last season, doing great. Obviously, we talked about Frank Lampard, and yeah, Mark Robins going into Stoke, who churned through lots of different managers, 3 permanent managers alone last season, and, given a summer to kind of put things in his own style, and absolutely no surprise at all that he's got them ongoing. And finally, they're talking about a potential promotion bid at the top end of the table, where in recent years Stoke have been massive underachievers. And look, you look through that Coventry squad who are tearing things up under Frank Lampard at the moment, and Frank Lampard will say himself, those foundations were laid by Mark Robins. A vast majority of that team are still the players that he inherited from Mark Robins, the 2 goal scorers yesterday as well. So it shows what a great job he did at Coventry, and fans were genuinely torn on whether he should or shouldn't have been sacked at the time, but he's showing that it was no fluke at all, and he's doing a great job at Stoke. And with these kind of managers in the Championship, you just know what you're going to get. You can have hits, you can have misses when you kind of recruit from the continent. You never quite know what you're going to get. With Mark Robins, I think that's as close to a guarantee of getting you up the table as you can get when you appoint him as manager, really.
And Leicester drew last night's game with Portsmouth and were booed off. They're the highest placed of the teams that went down. Neither Ipswich nor Southampton are in the top 10 of the table. Are we going to have 3 brand new teams in the Premier League that aren't going straight back up again?
I still think you'd be a brave person at this stage of the season to bet on that happening, to be honest with you, because I do think that at least one of those teams, I'd say Ipswich, will come good in the end. They lost at Middlesbrough on Friday night in a really weird game where they missed a penalty and then conceded a Cedric Kipre quite comical own goal about a minute later. But I think they've got a decent looking squad there. And as for Leicester, Martí Cifuentes came in quite difficult circumstances. He got the job late in the summer. They obviously lost Jamie Vardy, and they just haven't really been able to score goals. Turning draws into victories has really been their biggest issue that they've got. 1 defeat in 10 matches for Leicester, so they're not playing badly, but they've dropped 13 points from winning positions, including last night, in those 10 games, and they find themselves 10 points worse off than they were under Enzo Maresca when they were in the Championship 2 seasons ago. So they have got work to do. They had 19 efforts at goal last night, but Pompey were good value for the point in the end. They dug in, and a nice story with John Swift scoring a really well-taken goal as well, because he was without a club in the summer. The PFA do this training camp now for players who are out of contract, and some real high-profile, good calibre of players have been, on that training camp, getting themselves fit to get a move. And John Swift was one of those, got his move to Pompey, and now he's a really important player for them. So a good point on the road for them. But yeah, for Leicester City, 5 of their last 6 matches have ended in a draw. They need to start turning them into victories. The good news for them is, though, they are still just on the coattails of the playoffs at the minute.
Good stuff, Simon. Thanks for coming on, pal.
No worries.
EFL expert there, Simon Watts. Didn't quite have enough time to go deep on Cambridge United's 2-1 home victory against Bromley. 1 point off the playoffs for Neil Harris's Amber Army. Max and Barry with you until 1:30. Dan Bardell, Villa fan, joined us, and he will be joined by the greatest footballer of all time, Dion Dublin. Good afternoon. You're listening to the Warm Up on talkSPORT. Max and Barry with you until 1:30. Spurs play Villa at 2:00. Bringing the team news in just a second, but we can speak to Villa fan broadcaster Dan Bardell, who is standing next to the greatest footballer of all time. Hi, Dan. Oh,
hello, Dan Bardell.
I built up Dan Bardell quite well.
Maybe he's been rendered speechless just by being in the presence of the greatest footballer of all time.
That's possible. The greatest one. I have so many questions because I know the listeners would like Dion Dublin to go through his top 100 flick-ons for Cambridge United. I know every listener has a favourite flick-on that he did for Cambridge United. We might touch on some of his goals. You know, in
I
the
have a
early
question
90s.
I'd quite like to ask him about Holmes Under the Hammer.
Oh, yeah. What's the question?
Well, my mother watches Holmes Under the Hammer every day, and I quite like it as well. I don't watch it every day. I tune in now and again. But there was one day my mum texted me excitedly to tell me that there was a flat very like mine near where I live on Holmes Under the Hammer, so I should tune in. Now, it wasn't my flat, but it was a similar kind of arrangement, almost identical.
Okay.
And the bloke who was doing it up, he had to completely renovate this flat. And then at the end, he did a wonderful job. He gave me a few ideas of things I could do to my flat. But at the end, he was asked to reveal how much he'd spent. And he lied. Like, he said, it cost 30 grand. I'm saying, no chance. No chance. You've done all those renovations on a flat in southwest London for 30 grand. I mean, I got a new window once. That cost the thick end 30 grand.
And what's your question for Dion?
I just want to know.
Fact check.
Oh, they're there. Look, no one wants to hear me waffling on when Dan and Dion are here.
Oh, are they? Okay, here we go. Let's go to Dan Bardell and the greatest footballer in the world, Dion Dublin. Dan, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and clear. Well, you're in a basement. You and Dion. There's you and Dion. I can see you there. Dion Dublin, I love you, Dion. How are you?
I love you too, Pat. Great to see you both, man. Great to see you both.
Yeah. What are you doing? Dion, what are you doing with Dan? Is my main question. Sure.
We spend quite a lot of time together, don't we? Generally.
Yes.
On the circuit.
When we're doing these on the circuit. Do you hear that, Max? Very official. On the circuit.
Wow.
What circuit is this? The comedy circuit?
What circuit are you both on?
Do a lot of Q&As for Villa in and around Birmingham. Chatting to the fans and just making them realise and how important they were to us, and they've come to all our events. I do with Merce and Ian Taylor and Lee Hendry. We just go all over the country doing them, and they love them. We tell them stories and tell them what it was like in the dressing rooms and stuff, and the managers, and just try and give them an insight of what it was like away from the pitch, which they never get a chance to hear.
Question, Dion. Well, two questions. Did you have more fun in your career at Aston Villa or at Cambridge United? Is question one.
Cambridge all day long. Cambridge all day long.
Thank you so much. Now, when you're doing your after-dinner stuff and you're doing these things, are you now worried, Dion, of Karel Prince, who is brilliantly going through every ex-pro's stories and picking apart the truth and the lies? Or are you... I'm sure you're an honest man, Dion.
Listen, I couldn't give a damn who goes through my stories, Max, to be honest with you. If he's got nothing better to do than go through people's stories, get a life, kid, get a life. I don't mind. As long as people have fun, I don't really give a damn, Max, to be honest with you. That's why we're here.
Oh, fair enough. Dan, would you say Villa started pretty poorly, sort of turned it around recently?
Yeah, I think they're quite close to clicking. I think the last game against Burnley was the first time I've looked at them and thought that's a bit more like the Emery team that I remember. We kind of came across a formation in the last game that worked, a bit similar to a few years ago with Marlon playing off Watkins. So I haven't seen the team yet for today, so I don't know whether he's gone for the same again. But I actually fancy us today. I think we've got a good chance of going there and getting 3 points.
Is Watkins fit, lads, after clattering into the goalpost when he should have scored instead against Wales, was it?
Yeah, Emery said he was fit in the presser, as I say. I haven't seen the team yet, but Emery said he was going to be fit.
I can tell you he's on the bench. Ollie Watkins on the bench. So, yeah, Marlon starts this game. Are you confident, Dion? Tottenham away. Tottenham are better against teams that come onto them, and I suppose Villa will come onto them. But you know they're doing well, Tottenham, but they're not impregnable.
No, I agree. They're a good side. You know what? Best signing of the summer, was Thomas Frank, and you could, for anybody, the best signing was Thomas Frank. I think he's a great bloke first and foremost, and he coaches well. He makes players better, gives them the time of day, and I think Spurs will become a better side because of that. But if I could choose a squad, I'd probably choose Villa's squad, to be honest with you. So I do fancy Villa to go there and get something, without a doubt. I don't expect them to lose today, though.
Yeah, and Dan, what has Emery done in the last few weeks to change it?
I think certain players have stepped up. I think John McGinn in the last 4 games, I think Villa are 7 unbeaten now, but won their last 4. John McGinn really stepped up and put in a few captain's performances. I think they've kind of got over the hump of the summer now. I think that was weighing heavy on quite a lot of the players. The dressing room was maybe a little bit fractured. I think the transfer window shutting was a big thing for Villa. All that uncertainty was over, and they've gone out and in the main got results since the transfer window shut. It's just, they almost say football is as much about confidence as anything, and it was about drilling some confidence back into the players, because I think there was a little bit of a hangover from that last game against Manchester United, where they could have qualified for the Champions League and they didn't. I think that bled into the start of the season, but we're looking more like the kind of side that I remember us being under Emery now.
Dion, are you excited about the return of the big number 9?
Well, I'm surprised that it's returned, to be honest with you, Max. I thought it was done. I thought, my kind of, I don't know, centre forward, the big lump, flick it on and see what happens, had finished. And now, Voltemada's scoring flicks at the near post with his back heel for Newcastle. So I'm glad to see it, because I think it works. Because, we can also play as well, We're not bad. We can score goals. We can hold it up as well, and and tackle and head it and stuff. So we're not bad. We're not bad.
Honestly, Barry, Dion's touch in the early 90s was just something else. Okay, we got it launched. We did get it launched. We can't hide away. I don't care. I love that we got it launched, but
it worked,
he could
Max.
bring it
It
out
worked.
of the sky.
I'm with you, mate. It worked.
It worked.
Just
and
do
it
what
was
you've got to do,
beautiful.
mate. People hated coming to the Abbey. They hated coming to the Abbey because we were horrible to play against. And Max, I don't know if you've ever told Barry this or any of your colleagues.
I'm going to guess he almost certainly has, because he's got a very limited repertoire of anecdotes. But go on.
but carry on.
But the reason why Cambridge was a team that people didn't like to come to, or the Abbey Stadium, should I say, was the grass was long in the corners.
Oh, he's mentioned this.
Everybody knows that. The grass was long in the corners. John Beck, that was it. That's it, Maz. Yeah, John Beck. When it was cold, we'd make sure the windows were open, and when it was hot, we would make sure the windows were closed. They wouldn't open. Back in the day, when you went to an away ground, you'd get the balls from the home team. They'd give you a bag of balls. We would put the balls in the bath, so that all the balls were very heavy. We'd put loads of sugar in the tea, so they'd have a massive fix, and then they'd have a crash. And then in the tunnel, or you don't want to know what happened in the tunnel, led by Liam Daish, by the way, let me tell you.
Oh, of course.
Welcome to the Abbey Stadium.
Yeah. That's just rude, really. Would you do the same with guests in your house?
You have to find out, man. You're welcome anytime.
Hey, cheers, boys. Thanks for coming on. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dion.
Cheers.
Lovely to chat. What a player. One of my absolute heroes. Let's get the team news then from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Alfie Reynolds has got it.
Yeah, afternoon, Max. As you've mentioned, Ollie Watkins is on the bench for Villa. That's one of 2 changes for Unai Emery's side. Bogard also drops to the replacements. It's Onana and Gesand, the players coming in. For Spurs, just the 1 change. Spence replaces Udogie. So for Thomas Frank's side, Vicario is in goal. Spence and Porro are the fullbacks, with Romero and Van der Ven at the back. Bentancur and Palhinha in front of them, with Kudus, Simons, Audebert behind Tell up top. Also also Kolo Muani is on the Spurs bench. The Villa 11 is Martinez in goal, Cash, Konsa, who makes his 200th Premier League appearance for Villa, Torres and Dean, the back four, Onana and Kamara in front of them, with Rodgers, McGinn, Gesand and Marlon, the players further forward. A 2 p.m. kickoff in North London. It's Tottenham against Aston Villa.
Cheers, Alfie. Alfie and Perry will keep you posted on that game in Sunday Game Day Live, along with Liverpool, Manchester United, and we'll do some Liverpool in just a second.
Who would have thought a sporting event's halftime show could have a bigger impact than the game itself? Well, the Super Bowl halftime show does exactly that. In 2024, Usher brought in an audience of 180 million worldwide, the biggest ever in the event's history. But how did singing and dancing get to be the centerpiece of America's biggest sporting event? The first edition of the Super Bowl was held in 1967, when the Green Bay Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Los Angeles. Because of the sheer size of the event, organisers wanted to put on entertainment at halftime for the fans in the stadium. It was a display of marching bands, dancers and pure USA patriotism, and that was the theme that followed for years. In the 1980s, the Walt Disney Company got involved and we started seeing some interesting and questionable displays. But we got our first glimpse of halftime shows to come in '93, when none other than Michael Jackson stunned fans with his 15-minute medley of his own smash hits. When he walked out on stage, he had to wait for the crowd's cheers to die down for about 2 minutes before even starting his first song. Diana Ross, Gloria Estefan, Phil Collins all starred in their own shows, as did Aerosmith, who performed alongside NSYNC. Things got a little bit out of hand in 2004 when Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson produced perhaps the most famous or infamous wardrobe malfunction in history. Shows from the likes of Prince, Lady Gaga and Beyonce are considered by critics as the best. To give you an idea of the scale of things, Rihanna's 2023 halftime show included roughly 800 people. These range from backing dancers to stage crew to camera operatives broadcasting to millions around the world. The whole stage for that show was built in roughly 8 minutes and was broken down and cleared away in the same time. The acts perform for free nowadays, even though the experts reckon it costs around $13 million to put on Rihanna's show. Artists know they'll rocket up the charts in the following weeks. Rihanna's average sales improved by 140% in the months following her performance. The Super Bowl halftime show will be a fixture in pop culture for years to come. So the question is, who next?
Macca in Hexham's been in touch with Barry. Says, while you've got him, ask the greatest footballer ever if he knows any good value window fitters in South London so Barry doesn't get his pants pulled down next time. Thank you very much, Macca. It is the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max and Barry with you for another half an hour until Sam Matterface and Perry Groves take over with Sunday Game Day Live. Let's do a bit of Liverpool. They play Manchester United off the back of 3 defeats. James Pearce is the Liverpool correspondent for The Athletic. Joins us now. Hi, James.
Afternoon, guys.
So, look, 3 defeats in a row, which is good for the title race, I guess. No, they weren't all in it. One was in Europe, wasn't it? But how important is it for them to... I mean, it's always important for them to beat Manchester United. A daft question, isn't it? But do you expect them, actually, to win today?
I do, yeah. But I think you think about this corresponding fixture in the last 2 seasons, and it's a game where Liverpool have gone into it similarly to today as hot favourites, yet have been thwarted. You know, two seasons ago it was a 0-0 under Ten Hag when he was on the ropes. You know, last season Amorim produced probably one of their best performances since he took over in that 2-2 draw, and they probably should have edged it when you think of the chance that Harry Maguire missed right at the death. But it feels like a big day for Liverpool because I think there were mitigating circumstances behind that. You know, torrid week they had before the international break. 3 tough away games, and let's not forget, they lost the 2 Premier League games in the dying seconds of, both games at Palace and at Chelsea, and then in between that was, they were beaten away to Galatasaray by a pretty dubious penalty. So it's, I think certainly Arne Slot has been preaching kind of a sense of perspective, but he will also know that it doesn't take an awful lot more when you're manager of a club the size of Liverpool for a blip to be regarded as something a lot more serious.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there, James. Like, they lost those 3 games. I think far too much is being read into this blip because they were really difficult games against 3 pretty good sides. They were all away from home and they weren't exactly hammered in any of them. So, but I thought United had a fairly decent record at Anfield, and then I just checked and I was completely wrong. They haven't won there in almost a decade, I think.
Yeah, I think if Liverpool avoid defeat today, it will be the longest unbeaten run at Anfield against United in history. It would be 10 games undefeated against them. Of course, you think back to that 7-0 demolition a few years ago. But like I said, since then, United have had a couple of creditable draws. So I think the big thing for Liverpool, back on home turf. That's not, as you said, that run before the break. All 3 of those games were on their travels in tricky places, and Anfield will be absolutely bouncing this afternoon. And I'm sure that Slot will be desperate for his players to feed off that energy, because it was really interesting being at his press conference on Friday and him talking about, he kind of was saying about this, we're still the team that's creating the most from open play. We're still, preaching that there is actually, it comes down to very fine margins, he says, but there's no doubt that Liverpool need to be more clinical in the final third. They haven't clicked yet as an attacking force, which is probably to be expected when you consider all of the changes and upheaval of the summer. And of course, that's been compounded by the fact that defensively, they've looked, vulnerable, which was such a strength of theirs last season. Yet, they don't have that kind of stability at the minute.
I've completely forgotten what I was about. Oh, yes, sorry, Mo Salah. His form is definitely a source of concern, but his record against Manchester United, I think, is second to none. He scored 16 goals against them. I presume he will play today.
Yes, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Yeah, I think there was also a stat doing the rounds that I think of Liverpool's last 25 goals against Manchester United, 18 of them have either been scored or assisted by Salah. There's something about the sight of those shirts that seems to bring out the best in him. And certainly Liverpool need a lift collectively, but he needs one individually as well, because there's no getting away from the fact that he hasn't been the kind of force of nature that we've come to expect. And of course, when you're 33 years of age, people immediately start to say, well, is that father time finally catching up with him? But I think it's too soon to be saying things like that. I think there's a lot of other factors at play, not least, all the new on-field relationships that are having to be formed. He was used to playing with Trent Alexander-Arnold behind him for so many years. This time around, Slot has kept chopping and changing the identity of the player playing behind him at right back. And then you think, the dynamic between him and Isak and with Ekitike, and Wirtz, obviously, is still finding his feet. And yeah, I think there's absolutely no question that Slot will back him to get back to the levels we know he can reach today, because, I think he just possesses far too much quality for this kind of barren run of his to continue much longer. And he is coming back on a high. He got a couple of goals when he was away with Egypt, helped them qualify for the World Cup, and then was given some time off by Slot. So, certainly he'll be looking for a reaction from him.
One of the unquantifiable things for Salah and everyone at Liverpool is the impact of losing Diogo Jota. And I wrote a column about it last week, and it's obviously, because the way the news cycle works, it moves on, and if you're not at the club or you're not one of his friends, you go, this is obviously a tragedy, and then there's another tragedy and something else happens in the news. But it's still very recent for them, and it's almost impossible for us to know. And it's actually quite hard to cover, right? Do you, in every interview like this, bring it up? In every article you write, do you mention it? Because it's so central to lose somebody. Football, anyone loses a friend is very hard, and most people listening will have experienced loss in some way. But football is such an intense environment, and you are there together so much that I think it's so hard to tell what that impact will be, and it will be different for different players and different members of staff, and it will impact people at different times. But and that is clearly, that impact is more important than how you cover it. But it's quite a difficult part to find a balance, because you can't start every article with, look, this doesn't really matter because they lost someone. But I guess it doesn't really matter, if they're on great form or not, or if they don't win anything this season.
Yeah, it's something that I've wrestled with a lot, really, in the last few months. I think it is an awkward one to write about and to cover, because you're absolutely right, Max, that how can you possibly quantify it? You can't, can you? Anyone that's ever suffered any grief in their life will know that, the idea that, 2-3 months down the line everything's okay again is just, absolutely fanciful. So, and I think, it was, you see some of the reaction to Virgil van Dijk mentioned it in the aftermath of the defeat to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And, inevitably after a couple of bad results, you get an element of people that say, oh, it's just an excuse, that wasn't brought up when, they were winning at the start of the season. But it was like, well, actually it was. And it's been at the forefront of every single Liverpool game this season. Every game on 20 minutes, the Diogo Jota song is chanted. And that's why I just think this season was always going to be so difficult on the pitch, and also in terms of judging it off it, because it's not just that group of players and staff lost such a dearly loved colleague and friend, and it's you don't just put that behind you, do you? It's only, as you said about the news cycle, it moves on so fast. But 3 months ago, we'd have been sat here talking about the opening pre-season friendly against Preston at Deepdale, and there'd been some doubts over whether that would even go ahead, because there was how do they even get back to a semblance of normality? So I think it's only right, when it's only 3 months further down the track, that has to still be part of the conversation.
Yeah, and actually, even hard for those players that have arrived. You sign for Liverpool, you go, like, I'm moving to this club, this is exciting, and to enter into a dressing room that is not how a dressing room would normally be. And it's obviously trite to then ask a really basic football question. But on Florian Wirtz, it was interesting what Nagelsmann said in the international break about, actually, look, he's created more chances than anyone else. And it's not, he's done his job if people don't finish it off. Like that wonderful flick to Salah in the last game. I think it was the last game. But as somebody who's watched, because you see much more at the ground, who's watched so much more of him than I have in a Liverpool shirt, how close do you think he is? Have you seen enough to go, this guy is clearly, because he looks such a beautiful player when he has the ball?
Yeah, I've seen enough to be, to have a real belief that he is on the brink of kind of showcasing why Liverpool broke the bank to sign him. He's had loads of nearly moments in a Liverpool shirt so far. That one you mentioned, the flick to Salah at Stamford Bridge is a case in point. Salah sticks that away. The Salah this time last season, doesn't even think twice, and that ends up in the back of the net. And we're all talking about the quality of the assist, but Wirtz has had a lot of moments like that where teammates have been wasteful. He put one. Remember, great delivery for Conor Bradley away to Galatasaray that wasn't capitalised on. So yeah, I think that's probably one of the big kind of selection decisions for Slot today. Does he back Wirtz to go and deliver, and for this maybe to be the game that kind of kickstarts his Liverpool career, or does he use him potentially as an impact sub off the bench and go back to kind of more of the tried and trusted midfielder last season of Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai?
Good stuff, James. Enjoy the game today. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, James.
Cheers, guys.
James Pearce there, Liverpool correspondent for The Athletic. It is Max Rushden and Barry Glendenning with you until 1:30. Let's go back to Sam Allard watching England's women against India's women in the Cricket World Cup.
Into the 41st over, England 216 for 3 have just lost their third wicket. Siva Brunt going for 38. Shirani, the bowler, the Indian captain, Harmanpreet taking a really good catch that ends the 115 run partnership, stepping to her right to take the catch after Siva Brunt had hammered Shirani into the covers but picked out the fielder. So that third wicket partnership, a good one, worth 115 runs. Heather Knight still at the crease, unbeaten on 89. Sophia Dunkley, the new batter, in at 5. She's unbeaten on 2. We've got 9 overs left. England looking set here for a good total. They'll be looking to get close to 300. Into the 41st, England 217 for 3.
Thanks, Sam. This is the warm-up on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins, doing what matters for the trade. Find out more at travisperkins.co.uk or download the app. Guess the Attendance is next. touch to say, Max, you sound like my 11-year-old son when he wants to pull a sickie and get the day off school. We get you've got a cold, but man up and earn your 6-figure broadcasting contract. Can't tell, your voice is your voice, Andrew. I don't know what I'm meant to do. Patrick says, just realised who Max sounds like with his man flu, Henry Blofeld. I can't simultaneously sound like Henry Blofeld, Andrew's 11-year-old son, and Jim Davidson doing an impression of Frank Bruno. It's not possible to sound like all those people at the same time. Anyway, let's play Guess the Attendance today. Top comedian Justin Moorhouse takes on top journalist Barry Glendenning. Welcome to the programme, Justin.
Thank you very much. You know, it's always interesting when we do this at a different time, because obviously you're sort of, I don't know what you call it, you're out of break, bed, the kind of music that you play under that. By the way, that voice of yours, which is doing something for women all around. If only loads of women listened, you know, it would be doing a load for them, wouldn't it? Yeah, and men, of course. I don't want it to be disparaging.
No, don't. Anyway, the bed. What about the bed?
Different today, different bed, and it suited the vibe.
Yeah. Well, we like to empower whoever presses the button within a certain remit of what music that they'd like to play. But, you know, as long as it's got the same sort of tone, we're happy. We did think one season we'd maybe go 90s house to see if that would just change the energy of the show.
The kind of vibe I get from the people who work for you, and the phrases, they work for you.
Yeah, they do.
But they're like, do you remember in Wizard of Oz where she said, "Fly my pretties"?
Yeah.
I just imagine they're there, poised at your instruction, going, just play the bed, get it done, god damn it. Got a cold.
Are you saying that the people who work on the show are winged monkeys?
No, I'm saying that Max treats them, and by default, yourself being the second lieutenant on the show.
I have no power. No one listens to a word I say. My name is pronounced wrong on the jingle. It's been pointed out that it's been pronounced wrong, and they haven't done anything about it. That is the kind of esteem in which I'm held by the powers
under the
that
radar,
be at this stage.
under the radar, like those winged monkeys themselves. If radar did exist in Oz. Should we do
the way we see it, the way we see Justin the show as a success is if all the teenagers behind the glass are still there at the end, we've proved that things have gone well.
A couple of weeks ago, they all deserted their post to go and get selfies with Matthew McConaughey, who happened to be in the building. They just abandoned ship. But I stayed. I went down with it.
Yeah, we did. And we sunk without a trace. And then they called and said, "We've got nothing better. Can you do next week?" Are you looking forward to the game, Justin, later?
Oh, it's not the kind of game that, if you're a Manchester United fan, that you look forward to. I do have this kind of feeling that it is a shot to nothing. You know, this is how the mighty obviously have fallen. But I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to it. Do you know what? I hate football. It's like my only hobby, and I feel sick thinking about it already. It could be, we could face a backlash. We could, you know, we who knows? Who knows? I do know that this, you know, I have a podcast talking about Manchester United called The Good Days Are Coming, and it'll be on tomorrow morning. It's always the morning after the game before, and we've secured a great guest for the game from Liverpool end, Chris McCausland.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
So he will be talking about Liverpool from a very different angle, obviously, because he's without sight. Very interesting in his story about that. So looking forward to that. So if you are a Man United fan and you want to hear the bitter ramblings of three middle-aged men as we get absolutely pumped by Liverpool's resurgence, it'll be available tomorrow wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's go to the Stadium Light. Sunderland 2, Wolves 0. Mukiele and that funny own goal from Krejci giving Sunderland the win. Robert Jones of Merseyside refereed the game. I'll go to Barry first. How many were there, Barry?
I will say 47,000 people exactly.
Justin. I think Barry's right on the money there, because that is sort of the capacity, and it always sells out, doesn't it? I'm going to go 46,999 though.
46,578. 1-0 to Justin Moorhouse. To Scotland early. Wow.
Oh, gosh.
We go to Motherwell, everybody. Fir Park, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 2. Stephen McLean of Glasgow refereed it. But how many were there to watch Falkirk's 2-1 win at Motherwell? Justin.
I don't know what Motherwell's ground's called.
Yeah.
I do it.
Is it Fir Park?
Fir Park, yeah. You're Achilles' heel, but you are one up.
7,528.
7,528.
7,527.
7,473. That's very unlucky to lose the point there, Justin. But you do.
That's a good guess.
It was a great guess.
I wouldn't have had a clue. Not a clue.
Do you know what that was then? That was Mateta in the 99th minute.
It really was, wasn't it? Yeah. Balloon. Ruben Ricardo of Leicestershire refereed Birmingham 2, Hull City 3. But how many hardy souls were at St Andrews? Also known apparently as Knighthead Park. I didn't know that. How many were there at St Andrews to watch their first home defeat in 30 games or something like that? Barry.
St Andrews. 27,800 people.
27,800.
That's great.
That's great. Look at that. That is tapping the snooker table.
Could be terrible.
That's tapping the snooker table.
You should do it with the mic, shouldn't you? What did you say?
27,800.
You know what I was going to say? 27,750. So I'm going to go 27,799.
27,215. This is elite level. Guess the attendance. Stop what you're doing. Stop the cars. Stop in the street. Guess the attendance doesn't get better than this. Let's go to Lincoln, the LNER Stadium, Sincil Bank. Lincoln won, Stevenage 0. High-flying Stevenage losing to Lincoln. Mr. Street scored in the 69th minute. Martin Coy of Durham refereed the game. But Justin, how many were there at Sincil Bank?
I have form here.
You have form.
I have form with them, and I wish I'd done my work pre-season.
Yeah,
obviously
you've got all week to do this.
But no, you haven't. The work has to end at pre-season. You've got to get your average. You can't use this year's figures in your head.
Okay.
Who would they play him?
Stevenage.
Not really got a massive away following, have they? I would imagine. But Lincoln always fool me because they take loads away, don't they? Lincoln are always an away massive one, aren't they? They always are. I'm just going to say 11,000.
11,000.
Oh, I've no idea though.
I think he's overshot.
I think I have.
I think he's overshot. I think
I have.
It's nearer 8, but I'm going to go 10,999.
8,451. Two apiece. Two apiece. We go to the Cladara Abbey Stadium. Cambridge United's huge 2-1 win over Bromley. Declan Bourne of Nottinghamshire refereed the game, but how many were there to watch another win for the Mighty U's, 1 point outside the playoff places? Barry.
5,850.
5,851.
5,800. And 39. He was 11 off. It's a win for Barry Glendenning and perhaps the greatest Christy attendance we've had in modern times. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Barry. Sam Matterpace and Perry Groves are next.